Welcome to the future, everybody. It's 2025. We hope your new year has been off to a great start. Today, we're talking about our running resolutions for this year. And I'll preface most of this episode with I don't really do New Year's resolutions. I think they're designed to not work and it's more something just for people to talk about, like wishful thinking. How about you, Liam? What do you feel about New Year's resolutions?
I used to be very passionate about it in kind of the opposite sense. About 10 years ago, I'd never succeeded in New Year's resolution, never really been into it. So I said, I'm going to gain weight. I'm going to stop being healthy. I'm going to have the worst year of my life
And
because
then
I
you
never went
nailed
through
it.
with my resolutions. Yeah, oh, no. No, that time I failed as expected. So I found a loophole in my system to
Mm.
make it work. I exercised more, lost weight. Well, I don't think it was just because I said that kind of negative statement at the beginning of the year, but it came
Mm.
true. So for 3 years, I said that, and I'm healthier now than I was 10 years ago. So wow!
So you don't think you just reverse psychologied yourself into actually improving your habits?
I probably could have done a bit of that, but I think I eventually picked up on it
Mm.
because I'm about as smart as I am. So it's hard for me to outsmart myself every day.
So you don't really need to make New Year's resolutions. You just get better without trying.
Yeah. So I guess yeah. And as technology gets better, I think I might set my New Year's resolution to uh 1080p this year.
Okay. What are your terrible New Year's resolutions that you plan to fail at this year?
Well, actually, this year I haven't made any particular ones yet, but if I'm put on the spot, I could say, um, I guess, don't run very much,
Mm.
don't eat healthy food, don't sleep enough, always run on a treadmill.
Bad luck with all that.
Yeah, yeah, those are the ones that I will probably not follow through with.
For this episode, I think that if you look at the same things instead of as a resolution, as more of a goal, and you actually have a plan of how to do it over the year, I think it's much more achievable and realistic. And so that's how I usually do it. And I find the success rate is much better than just being like, oh, it's a new year. I'm going to improve my life. New year, new me, all that, and then not really get very far at it. But for the sake of this episode, we're just going to call these resolutions. It's just a handier term, and it's something that people feel they need to talk about around New Year's. So we're going to call them that, even though a lot of them are probably more like plans. So with that said, I'm going to get started with my first one. My first New Year's running resolution is to run more consistently. So right now I'm pretty consistent. I'm doing 2 run days at work. And now I've added a 5 kilometer speed run in the morning before I start work, and then another 10K during lunch. So 15 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's 30K right there. And then I do a long run on the weekend, which currently is at 37 kilometers. After Chinese New Year, which will end in early February, I plan to extend that to a full marathon. So I'll be doing, wow, 72 kilometers a week. But there will be some weekends where I have a half marathon or something, so it'll be a little bit less, but I'll run faster. So between 50 and 70, probably an average of about 60. And try to keep it as consistent as possible and don't take as many breaks. That's my first resolution. How about yours, Liam?
That's a good one. Mine is kind of related to a training schedule, training plan. My number one this year that I really do want to accomplish is to train for a marathon, which
You've done
is
how
kind
many
of
marathons now?
yeah, officially I've done 134, but I've never actually trained for one. Now that doesn't mean I don't exercise regularly and train for running, but I haven't said, okay, this date that I'm gonna PB on this day. I'm going for this. I'm going hard. I've never really had a run like that. Currently, my personal best was achieved on the fifth day of 5 marathons in 5 days, an event like that. And that's my fastest marathon of all time. So I probably could run faster than that if I prepared for a specific race. So yeah, I would like to do that. I have one in mind. Um, in September, there's actually a net complete downhill marathon.
Yeah.
So you start on a mountain
Almost like
and you go
cheating
downhill. It's kind of like cheating, so I'm gonna do it dressed as a dinosaur. Um,
on a skateboard.
but yeah, so I guess that'll be like technically my fastest, but of course I don't want that to always be my fastest because then I have to explain it and then I get
No,
judged a
no.
lot. But I would like the first one I try to be like that. That'll be a trial run, and then after that I'll say, okay, this is a good basis for where to go next in my running goals.
What is your current PB for full marathon?
Now it's 3 hours and 38 minutes,
Oh wow, that's already pretty good. Anything under 4 hours is fast.
I guess. But
Three
yes,
hours,
compared
38 minutes.
to yeah, for I guess it's far from my most braggable PB, but like in terms of different distances. So I know I can do better. But maybe one day we'll get into PBs for a whole podcast. I guess that's a goal to train for a marathon with a PB in mind for once.
PB means peanut butter.
Yes.
Next one. I plan to add 3 new countries and or regions to my list of places that I've done marathons. Right now I'm at 9, and I've registered for one in Ireland in May. And I'm not too sure where the other two are going to be, but I called this resolution countries and regions because one of those will likely be Taiwan. And I'm in China right now, where Taiwan is not recognized as a country. It's considered a region of China. So 3 new countries and regions. As for the other one, I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there. Probably won't be going to Canada again this year. I'll be going after I go to Ireland, right? Yeah, so somewhere within a direct flight distance of Beijing. Uh, in Indonesia? Sure, let's go with that. What's yours?
Yeah. Sound like great places. One of mine is to hit a total of 10 100-kilometer ultra marathons. So up to now, I've run five. And so in the coming year, I would like to attempt to run five more. And so I'm still trying to decide exactly where. For sure, in April, there's one in Korea I did last year. It's a road 100K, so it's relatively not too bad. Lots of uphills, all night. That's another story. But if I have enough freedom in my work schedule, in the middle of February, there's one in Taiwan I was thinking of doing, also a road 100K.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if it'll fit in my work schedule yet. Also, it's kind of, I guess, it seems like it'll be a bit difficult in terms of the time limit. The ones I've done before, huge time limit. You can walk; it's not a big deal. But the one I was looking at in Taiwan, it seems like it's you actually have to keep running for most of the time, which means have to be some training involved. So we'll see. But the main, I guess, chunk of those, that's 2 out of 5. The other three, I would like to try a very, some might say, ridiculous challenge, where in near the end of October, there are 3 weeks where every weekend there is a 100-kilometer run somewhere in South Korea. So
Mm.
I've done the one on Jeju Island twice. Usually it's Jeju, the next week in Seoul, and the next week in an area kind of near Busan. And they're all at least 100 kilometers. So I think the one in that area is more like 120 or 130. But they're all trail runs in the mountains and pretty rough. So I've met some people who've done back to back to back 3 weeks in a row, and I would love to be healthy enough to just hit those out of the park like that and succeed.
That totally sounds like something straight out of Squid Game. Run 300 kilometers in 3 weekends.
Yes, that sounds about right.
My third plan, resolution, sure, whatever, is to get my back fixed. So for the past 6 months, I've had some, not really back pain, but mm, it's called lumbar compression, where the two of the lumbars are just a little bit pressed together. It's from sitting on a stool for way too long, because that was all that they had at the hostel I was staying at for like a month and a half. And yeah, kind of threw my running game off. this morning I went for acupuncture for the first time, and it was an interesting experience. Like, it does feel a little bit looser after. So, the doctor recommended that I do it like twice a week for basically until it gets better. And the first part that was interesting about it was he didn't really like mention anything. Like I just laid down on the bed and then pulled up the bottom of my shirt and then just started putting needles in my back. I'm like, couldn't you at least give me a heads up? And then after I had the needles in me, he just walks away, right? So this is all normal to me, to him, but not to me because I've never done it before. And then I forgot that I put my phone on mute so that no one called me while I was laying there. But I forgot to turn the alarm off. So I have an alarm that goes off at 9 a.m. every day. And I couldn't reach it because it was out of reach. And I tried to move just a little bit to see if I could get my arm out, and the needles in my back wouldn't let me move. So I was like paralyzed there. And that wasn't a very comfortable experience, but it does feel like it's something that will help, and I definitely prefer that to, taking meds or something like that. And it's not a huge problem. Like he even said that it's not very serious, so you don't need to do it like every second day, like I'd have to do if it was an actual injury. Yeah. So I'd like to get back on my game, and yeah, this is something that's been holding me back for a while that I've finally gotten around to. It's my third one. What's yours?
Before I mention that, I
Mhm.
just like to say great pun at the end. It's something that's been holding your back. Um, but actually, on that note, kind of related, if you really want to stretch it, backs have bones. And my third resolution is I would like to run a marathon with a trombone. I
Wow, you really
apologize
tied that
to
together
all
there.
those listening. Yes. There we go. Yeah, so I've run a couple marathons with flutes now, which you hold sideways, or the ones I've been playing, you hold sideways, which is nice, but holding sideways and running like that, it's not good for symmetry of the body. Not that a trombone would be great anyways, but at least it's kind of forwards. There
Mhm.
are imbalances involved. But anyways, in high school I played some trombone and I haven't played in a long time. My goal with this is there is a certain marathon which I cannot mention publicly yet, because it's in a place where I know a lot of people who live in this area, and I do not live there now. And it's sometime in this year between January 1st and December 31st. And I plan to fly to that place and surprise my friends. I will not tell them, and I will show up at the race. And my goal is to start slow, and they won't see me, and I'll pass them while playing the trombone. And they will be first delighted to see me, and second, furious to see me because I'm passing them while playing the trombone. So that also requires me to train so I can run faster than them. Yes, that's my my trombone goal of the year.
The surprise sneak attack with the trombone. They'll never see it coming.
Yeah. Yes, they'll hear it coming, but
But
that's
they
about
won't know
it.
who it is. Will you have it strapped to your back for the first part of the race or something? Or you have
So
to
the
figure that part out?
case, um, I guess the case is kind of a wild card. I might just bring it in like a makeshift case. I might wrap it in my dinosaur costume, for example, and carry that on the bus.
Mhm.
And I will carry it the whole time in my hands.
Oh, okay. Wow. There's no way you can strap it to your back.
I guess there is a case you could wear like that, but I guess it would be jumping around a bit too much. It might be shaking in the case, so it might not be safe for the instrument. The trombone I have is not an expensive one. It was about $130, I think, which in musical instrument terms is like a toy. Which is why I have no guilt in running a marathon with it. It'll probably get a bit sweaty and maybe not the cleanest.
So after you pass your friends, you just toss it away. I mean, that's
Basically, this is maybe too far, but there's a spit valve where all the spit that gets up, you can go and it pushes the spit out. So I could kind of scare them. That's inappropriate. I won't put the spit valve anywhere near any people, maybe. But I'll
if you do that,
probably kind
please
of.
dress up as a llama.
Oh, that's a good idea. I was just going to say I might dress up as Darth Vader because I can play the Imperial March theme, but I think a llama would be better.
Because of the spit valve. Or you could have the Darth Vader costume on top of a llama.
I think
Okay,
Darth Llama, wasn't that a thing?
Darth Llama. I am your llama. Okay, we're getting way off topic here. Number four, do some run traveling around China. I've been officially back in China for 3 months now, and I've left Beijing a little bit, but there are races all over China, 1,000 a year of all kinds, including lots of trail runs, which I haven't really gotten into yet. I've just kind of barely scraped the surface with one that I did in Australia, and I felt that was enough for a while. And but the ones I think in China will be less wild. Like the train will be more well uh, patted down, and there won't be a lot of loose rocks. At least that's how I imagine it. And a lot of the mountains in China have steps, so a little bit different. And it'll be a good way to visit more of China. I've traveled around China quite a bit, but mostly for work, so I didn't do a lot of hiking and that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know if I'd jump straight to three 100Ks in 3 weekends. I'd probably start light with, you know, half marathon distance and then go from there. I would like to do 100K eventually. Sounds kind of fun. Yep.
Yeah, I recommend it. I think it's very fun after the race. Not always fun during every moment of the race, but after the race, it's usually a good memory.
Because you kind of just
Right?
take your time, right? Like I talked to one woman
Yeah,
who did 100K and it took her 20 hours. So they started 8 in the morning and then you go till 4 a.m. the next day. Did I math that right? Close enough.
oh yeah, and depending on the mountain, they might take longer. Like the one I did was
Yeah.
27 hours in Jeju Island. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's lots of time, and we spent most of it walking.
Yeah, it's more of like a really long hike with a bit of running on the easy parts, maybe,
Yeah, basically.
or half and half, depending on the mountain.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and my next resolution is kind of similar. I want
Mm.
to run with more people and more places. I guess locally speaking.
Now that sounds like
Before,
a resolution and not like a plan.
oh wait, I guess that's a bit true. So I guess now I will spend time running alone in my house because I don't follow through with this.
Running around in circles in your house.
Yes, before the pandemic, a few years back, I guess my life schedule with everything I was doing was a bit more open and regular. So I had evenings free, and I remember every evening I would try a different run crew, and I'd meet new people, see new parts of the city, see different cities nearby, and that was really fun and just a really positive experience. And I've kind of always said, oh well, maybe next month when I'm a bit more free, I'll always go back and visit again, but I haven't been doing that. So I think I would like to try and rearrange my work and life schedule a bit so I can have an emphasis back on enjoying the company of others while running and
Mm.
not just running in the same place. Like now, well, I have to leave my house. So usually I start at my house, and I'm not a big fan of running in my neighborhood. Not because it's near my house, just because my neighborhood is not in a very good place for running. There's no like
Mm.
nice parks, or I have to go just a little bit too far to get to the nice places. So
Mm.
I would like to appreciate those places with people on a regular basis. And yeah, participating in running crews is one way to do that.
Sounds like a good plan. My fifth and final 2025 New Year's running resolution is to get a run buddy with a car. Yeah, so this is pretty related to your last one. And so do more socializing through running and hopefully find someone that I can carpool with because Beijing is so huge. Like the urban center of Beijing is already huge, like 20 million people, and it's really spread out. So even by subway, it takes like 2 hours to get from one end to the other. And if you're going to the outskirts, like if you want to go to the Great Wall, for example, you need to take a taxi for like 2 hours each way. And a lot of the trail running events, especially, are on the west outskirts, not as much on the east where I am. Yeah, basically wherever the mountains are. And it's maybe possible to get there by taxi, but getting back would be really challenging because there might not be any taxis who want to go out there. But if I'm going with someone who is participating in it, all I have to do is be at their house at the predetermined time and then go with them. And then I can at least get a ride back to the city and take a taxi from there or whatever. So that would be a huge game changer because it would open up a lot of options for running in Beijing for me.
Well, yeah,
Kind
that
of
sounds like
selfish.
it would be great.
You're a really cool person. Oh, you have a car? That's great.
You're even
Let's be
cooler.
friends.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Good luck with that. Yeah. I hope running can bring you the vehicle that you desire. And for my last goal of the year, it's to edit my videos. So for about, I guess almost 5 years now, since February 2020, I've been taking videos of many runs I've participated in, and I've uploaded and edited, uploaded videos on YouTube of maybe less than 10% of them. And I've recorded tons of videos. I had lots of big plans, but I just got lazy and editing takes time. It's not my job. I got other things to do. I got running to do. I got other races to do. And I really just fell behind. And anyone who does some editing will know once you fall behind on one, it's just so hard to get caught back up and do all of them. In addition to that, I got more greedy. Instead of trying to reduce how much editing I was doing, I double, triple, quadruple down. And I said, every time I go to a run, I'm going to film content in different languages to practice my languages and share content with more people in different languages online. So now I have even more editing to do, and I haven't done any of those. So I would like to get caught up on all that editing, or at least a good chunk of it, edit them both in the languages that I get in both languages that I record. My focuses were Korean and Vietnamese. I did record a few intros in Cantonese when I was in Hong Kong. I don't know if I will be able to edit those anytime soon, but it's also a goal to, unrelated to running, but a goal to practice my language skills and just keep improving on those while doing something I enjoy. Right, that's my number five.
That does sound like a lot of work. For anyone who's edited videos before, editing takes a lot of time and adding like all the titles and everything and voiceovers. For a 10-minute video, it might take hours and hours. That's why all the run videos that I've been doing in the past year for full marathons are super straightforward, like almost no editing at all. Like I'll just wear the camera on my head and then turn it on for 10 seconds at a time every once in a while, and then turn it off after 10 seconds. That way I can just upload everything and then it's already a montage. I don't need to do any editing. And I specifically chose a format where I don't talk. So I tried like talking to the camera and stuff like that, and I found that mm, I just didn't even want to watch the parts of me talking. I really only cared about the first person ones. Those were by far the coolest and the least amount of work. So, and that was the only format where I could actually get myself to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I noticed that after my first few videos, it's all okay, I'm running. Okay, I'm still running. Okay, and that's not the joy of running. Of course, it's fun to say, oh look, maybe there's someone in Dinosaur costume running, but every video is the same, every moment's the same. So I really wanted to focus on what I was seeing. So I took a lot of B-roll and I planned voiceovers and content. But of course, now that so much time has passed, I don't remember what I wanted to say for a lot of them. So that's also another struggle I'm facing.
Okay, well, we look forward to hopefully seeing those videos sometime in 2025.
Yes, thank you.
That's all for today, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the latter 360 plus days of your year. We still don't have a outro slogan. Let's make one up right now. How about run more, please? How's that for a
Please,
slogan?
more run. I like that. I like that. Run more, please.
Okay, let's go with that. We might change it every episode.
I think that's also a good idea.